Meeting called to order. Public portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Business Administrative Board Secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Hawthorne Press, the record, and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Mr. Clevio?
Here.
Ms. Goff?
Here.
Mr. Palouse?
Here.
Mr. Reicher?
Here.
Ms. Sanford?
Here.
Mr. Sciarra?
Here.
Mr. Tara?
Here.
Mr. Turco?
Here.
Mr. Doyle?
Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity, early in the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, sign in, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or the presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during this public session should carefully consider their comments, since they could be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with the district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm that the matter has been first brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve the issue. Public be heard. Agenda items only. See no one, make a motion for the approval. We're looking for a motion for the approval of minutes for August 20th, regular meeting for public and private.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Clevio?
Yes.
Ms. Goff?
Abstain as I was absent.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Mrs. Sciarra?
Yes.
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Thank you. No correspondence that I'm aware of. Mr. Spirito, may we have your report, please?
Yes, so we're going to, at this time, what we'd like to do is, as we advertise, we'd like to take anyone who's interested on the tour. What we'll be doing is leaving here, there's a bus right outside the back, we'll take you over to Lincoln, we'll walk you through some of the facilities, all of the areas that will be renovated. The one thing we will not be doing is going on the roof. But when we come back, I have some pictures that I can show you and talk a little bit about the roof work that will be done, at least here in the middle school. And I'll even show you where there's a lot more information on our website. The other thing I'll just point out that while we're walking through, we're going to show you some of the classroom spaces, the media centers, places like that. But keep in mind that there will be a lot of window replacements, and we'll talk about that as we go through the schools, as well as interior doors. All of our interior doors will be replaced as well. All right. So, like I said, at this point, what we'd like to do is invite you all to join us. We're going to walk down right out the back door. There's a bus right outside there. We'll jump on the bus and we'll start making noise.
Right, so we're back in session. Yes, and right back to Mrs. Spirito.
A couple of quick things. Unfortunately, our student rep was unable to be here. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So Ava Tower is our student rep this year. Excited to have her join us at our board meetings. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us tonight. So what I'm going to do is just quickly read her report that she prepared for this evening. Good evening, everyone. September for Hawthorne High School was kick-started with another successful freshman orientation. Our student ambassadors, led by Ms. Russo and Mr. Shell, welcomed the class of 2023 with tours, tips, and even a glimpse of what we look like as freshmen entering the building a year ago. Along with the annual clap-in, students were given a proper Hawthorne High School welcome. All around, every grade is looking forward to another exciting year. We had our first pep rally to kick off the fall season, which was led by our student council president, Kaylee McCarthy. Over the summer, our teams have worked hard preparing, and our fall sports season has finally begun. I encourage everyone to get out and support our talented players of every sport, from tennis, volleyball, soccer, and football. There's never a dull moment in our athletic department. The dedication shown by our athletes should pay off this season and reward our teams with a great record. As for academic extracurriculars, clubs have started to meet, including Share, Class Cabinet, and Drama Club. Students are welcome to join and help make our school a better place. The library will sponsor a club fair during lunch periods. We're actually meeting over the next couple of days to give students an opportunity to learn about the clubs and to sign up. Participation in these different clubs promotes a diverse atmosphere of involved students, which we are all about at Hawthorne High School. Our band debuted to the community their new show entitled Beautiful Nightmare at the football game, with stunning visuals from the color guard and incredible music from our band. The performance left the audience amazed. The band's performance on Hawthorne Day will give the community another opportunity to witness this wonderful show and gain support for their upcoming competition season. First competition will be in Roxbury on the 28th, and she said good luck to the Bears. The library is back up and running at Hawthorne High School, and provides for our students before, during, and after school programs. Students look forward to lunchtime workshops that range from poetry, Google technology, and makerspace creative days. Also this month, in cooperation with the guidance department and the Care Plus counselor, the library is offering books, resources, and handouts in awareness of National Suicide Prevention Week. That is all for this September report. I look forward to working with you more throughout the year. Thank you. So that's from Ava Tower. Look forward to having Ava join us. Should be a great addition to our board meetings this year. The other thing I just want to quickly mention is on the election next week, which is next Tuesday. I just want to update the board that we're prepared to have our normal security in our schools, but we're also going to have security at the elections. So we'll be using all of our security guards because we have about 8 security guards. We have our regular guards as well as some subs. So we'll be using all of our guards in our normal locations at the front doors for all of our schools and here at the high school front and back door. But then we'll be using our subs and some of the Class 2 specials from the police department will also be helping us on election day. So that we'll have security at the election, at the polling location, as well as at the front doors in the schools. So I just want to make sure the board's aware of that. All right, so we did organize that, and that is all set. Everyone's ready to go for next week. Okay, I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Burrito. Moving on with the agenda, curriculum and instruction. Ms. Goff was here, but she had to step away. She's actually going back to school, so she's not here with us, but Mr. Reicher is going to fill in for her.
Okay, thank you. Pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Committee of Curriculum and Instruction recommends the following resolutions. CI1 on page 3, CI2 through CI7 on page 4, CI8 through CI19 on page 5, CI20 through CI22 on page 6, and then on the goldenrod addendum, CI62 through CI69. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Goff? Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Yes. Mr. Sciarra?
Yes.
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Thank you. Personnel, right back at you, Mr. Reicher.
Sure. Following recommendations are pursuant with the recommendation of the superintendent of schools for personnel. P23 through P27 on page 6. P28 through P42 on page 7. P43 through P50 on page 8. P51 through P54 on page 9. And then on the goldenrod, the addendum, P70 through P76. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah. I want to say farewell to Mr. Livingston. I'm sorry to see him go, but I understand we have a very good replacement.
Yes.
My daughter has her, and she's very excited, so it was good to see that we fulfilled the position of a solid person.
Great job, Mr. Small.
Anybody else? Roll call?
Mr. Paluso?
Abstain from P72, yes to everything else?
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Mrs. Sciarra?
Yes.
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Goff? Mr. Doyle?
Ms. Sanford, Finance and Administration, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, Vice President, sorry. Acceptance of donations. We're accepting the donation of 3 big wheels from the WB Mahoney VFW Post 1593 for use by the Special Education Department for Physical Therapy, so we'd like to thank them for that. As for the action items, pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommended the following resolutions: F55 and F56 on page 10, and F77 on the goldenrod addendum. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Mr. Sciarra?
Yes.
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Goff? Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Claims, please.
Okay. In accordance with NJAC 6A:23-2:11B, C3, and C4, I was able to check all the bills. They are in order. I'm going to request to be moved to the summer instead of September. I'll look through all the bills, of being a teacher myself. But no, all bills look good. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Mr. Sciarra?
Yeah. Yes with reservations on vendor number 2875 and 2892. Yes on all others.
Mr. Tatara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
With reservation on 2875, 2892. Yes on everything else.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Goff? Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Sciarra, Buildings and Grounds, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Buildings and Grounds recommends the following resolution. On page 10, BG 58. Moving on to page 11, BG 59. And on page 12, BG 60. And on the goldenrod addendum on page 17, BG 78 and 79. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Sciarra?
Yes with reservations on BG 59 and BG 79. Yes on all others.
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes with reservations on BG 59 and 79. Yes on everything else.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Goff? Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Is he there for you, Mr. Reicher?
Wow, Abby has a big part. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Policy recommends the following resolutions. PO 61, on behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Tara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo,
Yes.
Ms. Goff, Mr. Paluso,
Yes.
Mr. Reicher,
Yes.
Ms. Sanford,
Yes.
Mr. Scarra,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle.
Thank you. Moving on to committee liaison reports, nothing on negotiations. I do have something from Mr. Doyle, our president. He actually couldn't be here with us tonight. He had a family engagement that he had to attend. But I do have some notes of his on the referendum committee. Wall graphics are being installed in a high-traffic area of all of our schools and can be viewed on back-to-school nights. Lawn signs have arrived and are available to anyone who wants one. Please contact any of the schools, the board office, or any board member to make arrangements for pickup. The board will have two tables and will be sharing information about the referendum this Saturday, the 21st at Hawthorne Day. The referendum vote is on Tuesday, September 24, 2019. I encourage all registered voters to come out and vote. Moving on to curriculum and instruction, Mr. Reicher.
All right. The CNI committee met on 9/11, discussed a bunch of different things. First, NJTSS. Megan Robbie joined us. She was talking about the PD she was providing for the K-2 staff. She's working in the elementary schools on scheduling the BSI teachers to normalize their instructional minutes. She talked about 3 different tiers that they're creating. T1, BSI inclusion model, 2 teachers, 80 to 120 minutes per week. In the past, this was a whole pull-out program where if students needed help in language arts or math, they would be pulled out of the class. Now, the BSI teachers are pushing in. There's another level called T2, a flex period, will be divided by test data, a low, middle, and high group for K through 5, that will be 24 minutes a day. And then there's a T3 group, RTI for the lowest 1 to 3% of the population. The BSI teacher will be a pull-out only for that level. Universal screenings were given in ELA and math so far this year. Then Mrs. Trebona updated us on the professional development, September 3rd that they had. NJTSS was introduced district-wide, so all K through 12, just not to some of the schools. Also, Rich Kiker from Google presented to the staff, and Rich Kiker is an amazing presenter, and he will be here for the next 2 years. He's like a Google guru who covers the whole East Coast for Google to go and train all educators and also people in business too. He's very good. Third thing, Mr. Trebona talked about an AP comparison chart that we've made huge gains compared to ourselves and compared to other districts around us. And finally, Mrs. Pasquale gave us a STEM update. I know you saw some of the STEM areas tonight and some of the plans. A STEM capstone pilot is underway with 5 seniors from the high school. There was a non-disclosure discussion and agreements have been settled with those students and the company. Parents were invited to a meeting and they're well aware of everything going on. Laxco is the name of the company, and they met with them via a video conference with the students. They're going to test drive the Laxco equipment with some 5th grade classes. Also, Mrs. Pasquale is working with Passaic PCCC over the summer to discuss dual enrollment. And today they came with 9/11, the day that we had the meeting. They came over, they spoke to the students about college algebra, their targeting groups between 450 and 550. This will start September 26th after school. Students need to maintain a 3.0 grade point average, have taken English 4 and Algebra 2. 58 students so far have signed up for this, and we need 10 to enroll. They will get college credit for this. The credits are reciprocal to NJIT, Rutgers, and Fairleigh Dickinson. Seniors will be able to take pre-calculus in the spring. If they pass both, there's also an exciting summer academy opportunity through PCCC with NASA. This creates a cohort of students who otherwise might not have been able to get to college level math, but they can certainly do this in this program. And the best part is this is free for us, and the teacher gets paid as an adjunct from the community college. And also, one final note on PCCC, it's also working with our robotics club, helping them, which is going to be a big help, so a lot of involvement with us and Passaic Community College. That's the end of the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Risher. Mr. Spirito, policy.
Yeah, just quickly, I'm not going to read through all of these, but just, the board is aware, but just so that the community is aware. So you'll see a lot of policies listed on our agenda tonight. Basically, the way these policies, the updates, where they come from is we work with a policy consultant called Strauss Esme. Strauss Esme provides us updates, they provide us a policy alert. And what they do in that policy alert is it informs us of changes that were made in code, which then would require us to make changes to our policies. So that's why you see so many policies here. These are based on the policy alert that we received from Strauss Esme. And again, other than 3 of the policies listed here, all of the other ones were based on changes in code, which then require us to update our policies. All right? The only ones that are not mandated are the student ID card policy, which basically all that policy says is that the school district has the right, if they so choose, to require students to carry their student ID at school-sponsored functions. We don't currently do that. It's just something that if we wanted to do that, if we wanted to have students carry ID cards to school-sponsored events, off-campus activities, class trips, so on and so forth, we could. We're not currently doing that, but it's a good policy to have in case we decided at some point to institute that. The other 2 were parent organizations and media relations. And parent organizations just simply says that the parent organizations will communicate with us in terms of events that they're hosting. It basically says that provides guidance to the board regarding parent organizations and their involvement in the school district. The policy's been revised to require the superintendent or the designee for parent organizations that organize student-sponsored activities or solicit monies in the name of the school district, that they communicate that with us. And our PTOs are great about that as it is. They do a fantastic job of communicating with us regarding that. And the final one is just media relations, and it basically just talks about how that it would be my responsibility to designate a staff member to communicate with the media, and if they were going to communicate outside of someone who's a designee of the district, that they'd be representing themselves and not necessarily the school district. So, but other than that, all the other policies listed are updates that are required by code and mandated, and the board received that policy alert in your packets on Friday, so you get a chance to read those updates. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Palouse, have CPAC PTOs and family engagement, please.
Okay, nothing on engagement, but I do have a couple updates on CPAC in the Ed Foundation. CPAC's next meeting will be September 25th, 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Volunteer Ambulance Corps. Just kind of make a note of that because typically they have them at the library. So again, it will be at the Volunteer Ambulance Corps, September 25th at 7 p.m. Recently, CPAC administration met with Mr. Spirito and Ms. Pignatello to discuss allocating the $10,000 donation that they offered. They're still discussing that, and we'll have more details forthcoming. And just to finalize with CPAC, they're also continuing the pull tabs with the Ronald McDonald pull tab. Their goal was 625 pounds. We're about 92 pounds away. So if you're collecting those soda cans or whatever else comes in cans that you may drink, please keep those tabs. You can drop them off at any of the schools, the library. I think the Boys and Girls Club is now collecting them. And on Hawthorne Day, there'll be a bin. So if you have them at your house, please feel free to drop them off and help us get to that next level of these 92 pounds so we can hit the 625 pounds. That was the goal set in place. So that's all for CPAC. HEF, their first meeting of the year will be at 7:30 p.m. at the high school here, cafeteria, on September 30th. And they're in the middle of doing a fundraiser. Back to school nights, they're going to be selling raffle tickets. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's a 50-50. They're $10 a piece. The goal is to sell 500. So that would raise $5,000. So for $10 donation, you have a chance of winning $2,500 and also helping out the school district. So if you are going to be at any of back to school nights, you can buy them there. And I'm going to offer myself here, anthonypalouse@gmail.com. If anybody doesn't know how to reach out and buy tickets, send me an email and I'll make sure that you get an opportunity to buy them. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sierra, Buildings and Grounds, and JSBA.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Buildings and Grounds Committee met on September 10th. Items were discussed. We talked about LED lighting for the district. The state of New Jersey has a rebate program for school districts to convert to LED. Those who came on the tour saw some of the areas that we had the LED and the dramatic difference. This program will cover all LED bulbs and certain fixtures at 100%. So that means we pay nothing. Labor is not included. So the plan is for the maintenance and custodial staff will change out the LED bulbs, and the fixtures that require rewiring will be contracted out. The district's looking forward to the benefit of converting to the LED lighting. The LED light bulbs have a longer life expectancy, and it's substantially longer than the fluorescent bulbs. The labor and time savings for having to change out the burnt bulbs and the flickering bulbs, and I guess everybody knows what I'm talking about. And obviously, you know, the high lumen output that an LED puts out in comparison to fluorescent. And obviously, the biggest benefit is the cost savings that we'll experience. Another subject that we discussed was the new school bus and the old school bus. We sold, by law, we had to retire our school buses after 15 years. So we had to retire a bus, and we put it on a website called nj.gov, am I right?
Called govdeals.com.
Govdeals.com, I was close. And we had the benefit of receiving $2,600, which, believe it or not, you would think that the school buses would get a lot more. They
Usually
don't.
get $500 is what we've been
They
getting for
don't.
a bus.
So we were happy to get the $2,600. They don't get as much as you think you would have. The buses are working on it, but we can't have children on the buses after 15 years. So we did that. We also had a new bus arrive at the end of August. It is compliant with all the three-part harnesses and cameras. There is also a new law that requires the school districts to place signs on each bus. Signs that say do not pass while loading and unloading, and also an emergency for contact information for the school district. Last but not least, it wasn't in our meeting, but I do want to say that the board had the ability to go on a facility tour, something similar to what we did tonight. I want to thank the administration and the Building and Grounds superintendent, supervisor for doing that. We saw a lot of what you guys saw tonight, some of the projects that they completed over the summer. They did an excellent job, and we all appreciate it. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Sanford, Finance and Administration, and Legislative, please.
So the Finance Committee met September 10th as well. We did discuss that the auditor has been given some preliminary documents in preparation for their visit. They're scheduled to come out next week to begin the audit process. We also did discuss the LED lighting. So Mr. Scarra has gone over all of that. I won't do that to you again, but we are hoping to take advantage of that 100% rebate and get all new LED lighting where we can. We also did a comparison of busing costs from last school year to this school year. We grabbed just 5 of our out-of-district routes and compared costs from last year to this year. And just those 5 routes, not all of our busing, but just those 5 routes came in at $117,928 higher than last year's costs. The other thing that we discussed is that Standard & Poor's has reached out to do an evaluation of our schools. So we're waiting for their rating. We're hoping, you know, it'll be better due to our testing and our demographics, our reserves, and the rating should be out in the next month or so. And I do not have anything for legislative. That concludes my reports.
Thank you. Mr. Tesoro, Council Liaison, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Following my notes from the September 4th, 2019 council meeting, Mayor Goldberg reminded all of us about the September 11th, 2019 memorial, in which Chief McAuliffe was the keynote speaker. I personally had the opportunity of being in attendance at the memorial, which paid tribute to those who lost their lives that day, as well as the men and women who helped in the recovery efforts, which I'll never forget. Reminder that the 11th annual Hawthorne Day will be held on September 21st, 2019 from 12 to 8 p.m. located at the Municipal Pool at Borough Banshall Complex, corner of Wagon Road and May Street. We hope to see you there. And lastly, there was, and a lot of you might have got the Nixon report, the no-knock ordinance was issued, making it illegal for people to go house to house or business to business for the purpose of distribution of literature, pamphlets, handbills, or seeking orders, subscription, or the purchase of any goods, wares, or merchandise without adhering to the borough ordinance. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Turco, anything on PCSBA?
I don't know.
Very good. That completes our committee liaison reports. At this point, is public be heard? Anybody wishing to speak, please come to the mic and sign in your name. Seeing no one, we'll move on to general comments and questions from the board related to the school district. We'll start at your end, Mr. Tutera. Anything?
Yeah, I want to please tell everybody, if you haven't experienced Hawthorne Day, it's a great experience. We're going to have a booth down there. We'll be doing some promotions of what you saw tonight about the referendum. We'll also be selling some T-shirts that the Bear Cave makes. The Bear Cave is our transition program for 18 to 21-year-olds, and they learn life skills and job coaching. And one of the skills that they have is this T-shirt, Bear Cave graphics. And you'll see some, probably summer and winter. Is that what we usually do, Mr. Spiro? I know we had some sweatshirts and T-shirts.
Yeah, this year they have some T-shirts and different types of T-shirts. They have little drawstring bags that they made. I'm not sure about sweatshirts this year, but I know they definitely have T-shirts.
And they're going to have children's sizes.
They are going to have some children's sizes,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's a new thing. So, I welcome everybody to come on down. It's a great time. It's what really makes Hawthorne one of the great places to live, and we enjoy. Also, just another reminder, I know we mentioned a few times, but anybody wants a lawn sign, just let us know. We have a very limited supply. Just as a reminder for people to go vote next Tuesday, September 24th. Have your voice be heard on your views on the referendum. And I hope you all got the mailers. That's a little mailer that everybody got. Unfortunately, I was the one that didn't get it.
Oh, I got two.
Yeah.
Maybe I got.
So you didn't get it either.
Maybe just a lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
there
one.
it is. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor
Still
didn't
didn't
get it. No, and neither did my neighbor. Yeah, very interesting. We have to talk to our mailman.
Which one?
Hawthorne Post Office is not known to be, and I don't want to knock it. And we're off to a great start this year, and I want to say thank you so much for the administration and for getting us off the board, and I look forward to having a great year. Thank you.
Actually, I got two postcards, but one didn't have your name on it, so I have a postcard for you. I just want to encourage everyone, like the whole presentation tonight. I think the easiest thing, and I did with Mr. Sprito in the summer, is just go watch that 2 minutes of video, because that's what, says the whole thing. There's, 125 slides to look through, or watch a 2-minute video. And it kind of tells the whole story of basically what you saw tonight, looking pictures, and just to really encourage everybody to go out and vote. I know the people on the board have heard the story before. The district that I work in, one time 10 years ago, the regular budget, when it was in April, it failed by 8 votes. That cost the district about $700,000, because at the time it went back to like the town council. So don't take it for granted that, probably everybody's going to vote. Everybody's going to vote. So just encourage people to go vote, for the referendum. That's it.
Thank you. Bill, anything?
Yeah, just a quick comment. This will be referendum number 3 for me. I know what it takes to get to where we're going to be next Tuesday. And I just want to congratulate you, Superintendent, and the BA for the incredible work you put into this. You are to be applauded, and this community should appreciate the hard work that you have done putting into this. You've done a great job. You're welcome.
I too want to thank the superintendent and the administration for all their hard work, and also for setting this up tonight. I think, it's easy to say I'm going to watch a video or I'm going to look at the postcard, but when you see something face to face, you see it in person, and it really kind of hits you, and you can see the state of need that we are in. So thank you for coming out tonight and for doing that, and then I hope that you will share what you have learned and what you have seen with everybody else too, because obviously, we would have loved to have the whole community come out and see it, but since that didn't happen, we're counting on our social media, we're counting on word of mouth, we're counting on each other to kind of spread the word and awareness. So thank you for coming, and if you have questions, please ask them, and please go vote on Tuesday.
Just bringing up Hawthorne Day again. It is a great event. I'm just curious, are we, Rick, I hate to ask you this, but are we having the yearbooks again? Do we still have those?
No yearbooks, we decided not to because we have the shirts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not, I know you want to show my picture from 1988.
Well, yeah, just bring your year in Anthony.
Yeah,
That's all we need.
Mr. Blues loves to show my picture.
Oh, I don't want to do
In high school, but we won't have that opportunity this year. No, so no yearbooks. We're just going to do the shirts in the Bear Cave, and we'll have our referendum stuff. Our architect is going to be sharing, he has a tablet, a 27-inch tablet that he'll give us that we can show, some of the pictures and the videos and things like that. So that'll be the other table. We just didn't, just not enough space. I think,
Right.
to have all that, so.
Right, great, thank you.
All right, Anthony, no chance to show off your captain picture.
Mrs. Freer, by the way, I have your picture because I took a snapshot of yours and Anthony, so if anybody wants to see it, I still have it.
Appreciate that. Mind if I just-
Sure, absolutely.
I just want to thank the parents who came out tonight. I appreciate you guys coming out. I know it's hard. We're all very busy. We have a lot of things going on with our kids and families and work and everything else. So I appreciate that you came out tonight, took the time to see what we're trying to do. We have put a lot of time into this, and it's a labor of love. It's a lot of work, but it's needed. It's important. Our kids are going to benefit from it. So I hope that if you didn't come out tonight, I hope that you'll take a look at our website. I hope that you'll visit us on Hawthorne Day. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to call. I'm happy to talk to anybody because this is something that is really important for our kids. It's going to benefit every child in this district. So that's all. I just want to thank the people who are here.
Thank you. Mr. Blues, any new business?
No new or old.
Girls volleyball won today.
Yes. Yeah, right. Go Bears.
I'm good, either way, both of you and
Any old business? No, anybody? Very good. So it goes without saying that the referendum is here. Anybody that's ever been part of any campaign knows the amount of work that goes into it. And you really can't appreciate how much work has gone into this effort without seeing behind the scenes. It's years in progress and works at this point, and just echoing everybody's sentiment, thanking the administration for all the work that's gone into it, for the committee, the referendum committee, and all the board members that have come out to support the different presentations and sharing it on social media. What's at stake? It's two things. One is there's a direct, as a real estate professional, those of us that are in the industry understand that whether you have kids or not in the school districts, there's a direct correlation between the property values and the quality of your school system. So even if you don't have any kids in the school system, there's a direct benefit from this. The other one is, as far as the actual school district, we have the opportunity for quantum leaps, right? If the referendum doesn't pass, the buildings are still going to be here. We're going to try to plug along and do what we can. But this really gives us an opportunity to get a quantum leap. So that's pretty much what's at stake. It's in our power to make it happen. Don't take it for granted. Spread the word, and that's it. At this point, we're moving on to private session. Be resolved that the Hawthorne Board of Education convenes an executive session to discuss exempt matters pertaining to personnel. Be it further resolved that it's anticipated the executive session will be for 45 minutes in duration, and the public action will not be taken. Be further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be made available upon a determination by the board. Disclosure of the minutes will not detrimentally affect the right or interest of the board, and the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Motion to go into private session.
Motion.
Discussion. Roll call. Who seconded that? Was that you, Mr. Blues?
Yeah, I was in there somewhere.
Mr. Turco, thank you. Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Scott? Mr. Palus?
Yes.
Mr. Raisher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford?
Yes.
Ms. Sciarra?
Yes.
Mr. Taro?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Thank you for coming out, everybody. Appreciate it.